I think there's so many different themes in the show that are relatable. I really do think there's something for everyone in this show. I mean, it's a story of grief. It's obviously a story of rage. It's a story of, yes, bullying, childhood bullying, facing your bully. It's a story of identity.
I think the show does like a really amazing job, actually, in terms of you're right. You know, you're talking about grief. You're talking about coercive control, domestic violence, You know, many different things. Female empowerment, the silencing of Rhiannon and how she feels.
It's also in many ways it's quite a sweet story. When you take away the murders and all the killing, there is quite a sweet coming of age element to this. Of here's this young woman who is very much stuck in the past and hasn't maybe had all of the experiences that most 27, 28-year-olds have had. And she finally gets a bit of confidence and she goes out on a date and she has a kiss and, you know, she makes friends and goes to a club. You know, it's really, really sweet and you really kind of, in a way, despite everything that she's done, you're sort of rooting for her to have those experiences.
And I think that the writers wove that into the narrative like so beautifully, and I think it was hard to explore in that it was really challenging, but I think it's worth it for us to talk about themes like that.
It was the challenge as well of telling a story of a female serial killer in a way that would make the audience feel so morally conflicted. You know, we wanted the audience to relate to Rhiannon and feel empathy for her and really get inside her head, tell that story, but at the same time, draw quite a hard line in not relating to what she does, obviously. I really wanted the audience to feel that push and pull, and I didn't know if I could do it, and that scared me.
It was challenging in the sense that I think I wanted her to feel like really three-dimensional, and obviously you hear a lot about Julia as well, even when I'm not on screen. She's this kind of force and presence for Rhiannon. So I think for me, the way to get into her psyche was to try and understand what it was she was kind of experiencing when she was at school. Why did she behave that way? Thinking about, has she changed? Is she able to like really reconcile with what she did? And when you meet her, she isn't, and she does not acknowledge what she did. And I guess for me, that comes from a place of shame in terms of trying to humanize her and her not wanting to really like look at herself in the mirror and go, this is who you are. You know, she definitely wants to run from the things she did in the past.
A lot of research in all of these different themes. I obviously did a lot of research into female serial killers. I watched a lot of Dexter. What else I do? I did a lot of research into childhood trauma because I think that's really the main defining piece with Rhiannon. It's the main thing that shaped her. She's stuck in the past. She can't accept it. And also that lends itself very well to the other themes, right? The themes of victimhood or this sort of this moral code that she develops. I think there's a part of Rhiannon that is so attached to her trauma. It's been a part of her identity for so long. And she's been so stuck in the past that subconsciously, you know, she can't let it go. Even when she's offered the chance to heal, she's offered the chance to forgive her childhood bully, she's offered the chance to face the past and face what happened to her and accept it and move on. She can't. Because there's this quote, and I'm probably going to butcher it, but your brain would so much rather stick to a familiar hell than an unfamiliar heaven. You know, it wants to be comfortable and it wants to keep us safe. And sometimes that means that we can't let go of trauma, even when it's what's best for us. And I think that's Rhiannon.
I definitely thought about my experience as like going to an all-girls school when I was younger, obviously, when I was school age, and I went to an all-girls school, and it was definitely a tough school to go to. So I could really think about some of the moments in my own school life where I thought, gosh, that I could see how that can really scar somebody like Rhiannon, and why it's so important to her, you know, that she gets an answer from Julia and she gets some accountability. And for Julia, she just wants to run away from it, and she obviously doesn't want to. But I did draw on some of those experiences.
I think that there's a lot to relate to, and there's also, obviously, it's a heavy show, right? So I think the comedy is very important to sort of alleviate those moments of heaviness. And whether or not I relate personally to the bullying theme, again, getting to the truth of the character is this essence of she feels invisible, she feels overlooked, she feels underestimated, and that nobody really sees her. And I think that's because she doesn't really know who she is. She never got the chance to develop in that way. So yeah, there's definitely plenty for an actor to sink their teeth into there. You know, now, I don't know how to describe it, but it feels like I've got a lot more at stake. You know, I care so much. I really put my heart and soul into this project, and I do feel a level of responsibility, whether it succeeds or doesn't succeed. You know, I've never had that level of investment before.